Hello guys, I'm back. Today let's cover another term in plant design. What is Mdmt? My name is Jeferson Costa and I teach students, graduates and engineers how to work with chemical process engineering and plant design. Follow my profile, like this video to have hundreds of contents related to chemical process engineering and plant design. As important as MAWP is the Mdmt of a vessel or of a equipment. Most often, when your equipment is a vessel and it must have a stamp, you will have information about the MAWP and also the Mdmt. And what is Mdmt? Mdmt is minimal design metal temperature. So it is the minimum temperature that the vessel can reach without becoming fragile. If you reach temperature below the Mdmt, any impact in your equipment can break the vessel. So this is a very important information for chemical process engineers that works with chemical process engineering and plant design. How we define the Mdmt of a vessel? We start the plant design doing the heat and material balance of the plant, and we collect also the information related to the environment. So if you are installing a project in Canada, the ambient temperature will be different than if you install a project in Qatar or in South America or in India, for instance. So the Mdmt will get influence of the environment. If you are in a very strong or difficult environment in terms of temperature, imagine that if you are installing your plant in the Alaska, the minimal ambient temperature that can reach there is very low, and not is very different than if you install a plant in Rio de Janeiro that you will never reach 0 Celsius degree, for instance. So based on the environment conditions and based on the heat and material balance, and the heat and material balance can achieve very low temperature based on the process in itself. If you are doing a cryogenic process, for instance, doing the separation of air, argon, oxygen, and nitrogen using cryogenics, the temperature of your equipment will be of your process will be very low. But you can have also very low temperature if you have depressurization of a gas, for instance. So when you are performing the heat and material balance, you must evaluate, you must verify what are the minimum conditions in terms of temperature in all part of your process, even in the process, and more attention for the part of the process where you operate at ambient conditions, but because of the pressurization, you can get very low temperature. For instance, I worked in a polypropylene plant, so the propylene was a liquid stream, but when we depressurize that, it could reach minus 45 Celsius degree. So in order to choose the correct material for the process, we need to be aware of that. As although the operating conditions was 25 Celsius degree, while or during the depressurization we could reach very low temperatures. So all of this information must be considered when you are defining the Mdmt of the equipment. The characteristics in terms of material will be selected by the material engineer. It's not a responsibility of the chemical engineer. What is the responsibility of the chemical engineer is to inform the lowest possible temperature that can be achieved in the process or also achieved in the weather. Depending on how is the weather, eventually your plant will be installed inside a facility to prevent contact with snow, with frozen or minus Celsius degree below temperature, below 0 Celsius degree temperature, and etc. But in terms of process, most often we are not able to avoid what happens when we do a depressurization. So in this way, the Mdmt, it's very important information. I worked in another project, hydrogen project, where the Mdmt of the vessel was defined by the American department, the engineering department in the US, as minus 29 Celsius degree, because they was usual for them to define all the equipments as minus 29 Celsius degree. However, this project was being developed in Rio de Janeiro, and we will never reach minus 29 Celsius degree. And it was a part of the process that the only way to achieve this temperature was if we were installed that in the weather. So there was a big discussion if we should proceed with this Mdmt or not, because as you may expect, when as low is the temperature Mdmt of your equipment, the material must be a material able to handle that, and it will be more expensive. If you are not supposed to reach negative numbers in your project, there is no reason to define the Mdmt as a negative number. And that's very important when you are evaluating the consistency information of the project. You are dealing with companies from the Europe, from the US, from many places of the world, and each place has its own characteristics, has its own usual weather, and etc. And in some cases, when the design company gets what is standard for them and try to transport to tropical countries as Brazil or India, for instance. And if you do not observe these points, you can have a project more expensive than it must be. So one of the main roles of the chemical process engineer that works with plant design is to make sure that what is being considered in terms of design, it's really important for the design. Don't expend or spend more if it's not needed to spend more. So if you want to know more about MAWP, you can take a look in the video that will appear right now. This is it, guys. I hope you like it, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Bye bye.